Jupiter in Leo is going to be a transit which is all about the self-expression, all about really, really shining in your own light and being your own best person to be your most authentic self. And Jupiter in Leo gives you the confidence and the boost to be able to move through your life with grace, with zeal, with all this kind of thing like that, with a lot of motivation and confidence. And that is the kind of thing that goes into the picture with Jupiter in Leo. It's a transit that really, really wants to break you out of your cage, where you can put things out there, where you can be the leader of your life, where you can embrace authenticity in your connections. I mean, there's so many things going on with Jupiter and Leo that are so incredibly positive. But before I get into the more positive, beneficial aspects of Jupiter, I'm going to get into the shadows at the end of this video. I just want to give a teaser into some of those shadows. Now, during this Jupiter in Leo transit, the South Node is going to be moving through Leo throughout from the 28th of July of this year to the 27th of March of 2028. So you want to really, really put that, and those are the exact dates, by the way, that's what the ephemera said. So if you want the exact dates, then I just gave them to you. So it's going to be moving through the space where it's going to be lighting up the south node of the moon. And, when it does this, when it lights up the south node of the moon, it is going to bring to light all of the shadows of the sign of Leo. And some of the shadows with Leo involves arrogance, overconfidence, egoic qualities, being very, very in your ego, being very, that kind of a thing. And so we're going to really, really be looking at that during the time when Jupiter is in Leo. And so the downside of Leo energy, it's a fixed sign, and it can be really, really, absolutely very, very controlling in its energy. And so, one of the things that's going to look at is where are we overdoing our Leo energy so much where we are entitled and arrogant. Overly entitled, having an unhealthy sense of entitlement. I'm going to talk about what a healthy sense of entitlement means in this video, potentially, as I go through the information on Jupiter and Leo. This is, by the way, part 1 of this series of videos. Part 2 is coming tomorrow, where I'll be breaking down what you need to know for Jupiter and Leo for all 12 signs, for your sun, moon, and rising sign. And so one of the things that we need to understand with Leo energy is what it really, really means to be authentic, and what it really, really means to be absolutely yourself. Your most authentic, bold, courageous self is having the awareness that you want freedom to shine in your own right. And understanding that every single person, that this earth revolves around everyone, that everyone has the right to shine in their own light as well, and then you are not the only person in the world. There are others in the world that are fully deserving and fully worthy to shine in their own light as well. And so, what we need to really, really, remember is with this transit, not to judge and not to control others with whatever choices they want to make for their lives authentically, in an authentic way where they're doing it for themselves. And Leo energy is bright, it's heartfelt, but sometimes it can be really, really in the ego. I was just having a conversation with somebody, and I sort of bit the bullet in this conversation, in this interaction. And some things were said, some things were brought up, some conflict had to go on. And, at the end of the day, with whatever choice that anyone makes in their own life, with whatever they do, whether you disapprove of it or you don't disapprove of it. That's their choice, that's their life, that's what they want to do, let them do that. And I think that we're stepping into a time where we're individuating ourselves more, where we're stepping out and being more of our unique, authentic selves. And to not keep the other person from doing what they really want to do, and not judging them for doing what they really want to do, what feels right to them on a soul level, how they want to express themselves and how they want to come off is for them to make. It's not for you to make those kind of decisions. And so, there is this kind of quality with Leo that can be really, really arrogant. It can be really very, with a high sense of self-importance, high sense of feeling like yourself, that you are superior to others. And so, there were some feelings of superiority felt. And the interaction sort of went down, kind of a slippery road, but it was grounded by the flowers and the butterflies of authenticity, so to speak, which grounded the interaction. So the negative side of Jupiter and Leo is really thinking that, you are better than other people. When you're not. You are so great, you have so many great talents, many great abilities, many great things to keep in mind, many, many wonderful different kinds of things going on with you. You have all these beautiful qualities, all these wonderful qualities. Embrace who you are. But don't let yourself get carried away with doing that. Meaning, don't let yourself get into the ego with proving yourself and claiming that I am better than others and standing up on a high horse and thinking that you are better than others. Because that's really not healthy. We don't want to drive out wedges between people that we really, really care about or those in our relationships. We don't want to hurt the relationship. We don't want to do anything wrong to the relationship. We want to maintain our connections that we have. And I intend to do that in my life moving forward, but not if it sacrifices my own authenticity. And I think, there's certain things that I will just do based off of the simple belief that I have to do what feels right, and not basing anything too complicated beyond that. And, we have to understand that, another lesson with, Leo is to try to control others. Why aren't you this way in this situation, and why are you this way in that situation? Why are you the very person that you are to me, but then you're not to someone else, or whatever the situation is? And one of the lessons with Aquarius is marching to the beat of your own drum and not caring what others think. And the North Node's actually going to be in that sign during this next 18 months. And the lesson really is that you may know me in person, and I may be a very, very different person than you might see on these videos and on these podcasts. It all is relative. I try to be kind of the same person, a similar person that I can be, the best version of myself that I can be here and there in my, human interactions, my real life, real people interactions. But really one of the little nuggets that sort of came out of our conversation was, this understanding that, you put on different personas and different ways of being depending upon the situation. And that is really natural for anyone. That's kind of a natural thing. I know there's this woman who, has goes to England and has an English accent and goes to America, switches right over naturally. That's one example. Point being is that we shouldn't try to judge other people for being who they want to be and who they really are. We should allow others to be without trying to judge them. And if you are aware of yourself enough, and if you have that self-knowledge and that self-understanding, and enough worthiness within yourself that you don't have to take down other people to make yourself feel bigger and better. Because that can stem from a low sense of self-worth, is when you try to do that. Hurt people. They take down, others because they're not feeling good. And so, not that this was the way that it was. I'm just saying that it's kind of the situation where it's kind of like I don't know. I really can't go too much into this, but the moral of the story is that we really, really should let others do what is in their heart and soul to do, because we are all sovereign beings. We are not bound to anybody else. We all have our own soul desires, our own our own drive, our own path to go down in this life, what feels right to us. And we are all individuals, and we should all respect our own individuality and our own authenticity. And if we do not have that kind of respect and foundation put into place, then we need to then we don't have that makes for all the negative, more egoic qualities of this life, where you cannot have love without freedom. In order to have a more loving world, you need the freedom to allow everyone to be who they want to be. Otherwise, what kind of more evolved world are we really living in? So that is what I want to say. That is what I want to address. I think that that's a very, very great crossover and segue into this discussion on Jupiter and Leo. And now I'm going to proceed into the dates. Jupiter is going to be in Leo from July 1st of 2026 to July 27th of 2027. These are the exact dates. I may list out dates. The astrologers don't typically give you other dates, but I am basing these dates on what is actually, the accurate dates, and not what is said all around, the internet. So I think that the dates may be very, very different for me because of the source of which I'm getting those dates from. So, Jupiter and Leo. Let's talk about Jupiter first of all. Jupiter is the planet of optimism. It rules faith. It rules good feelings. It rules sort of good tidings. And it rules Sagittarius. Like during Thanksgiving, we feel good when we eat a nice meal. We eat a nice meal that gets us filled up. We feel, joyful. We feel jovial. It is that jovial quality of laughter and fun and play and optimism and excitement and morality, generosity of spirit, benevolence. Jupiter is very benevolent in its nature. And so it rules the sense of optimism that we have for life, optimism that we have about life. And it rules the sense of growth that we have. It rules feeling growth. It rules growing and expanding in all of the areas of life that we're growing and expanding in, and whatever, I'm not going to go through this, but I just think that it's important to mention that whatever house area that Jupiter is transiting in your chart may or may not be accurate for you, may or may not be areas where you're growing and expanding. If it floats your boat, great. If it doesn't, then also great. It's all based on your specific transits and your specific life. So Jupiter is that planet of growth. That's really what it is about, and it's about abundance. Jupiter is the planet of abundance and bounty. It rules all these blessings that you can have in your life, all these really, really good things. And so Leo, which is the sign that Jupiter is in during this period of time, this span of time, Leo is ruled by the sun. And so the sun is, how we want to put ourselves out into the world, our personality, our identity, but also our ego self, but also the core part of who we are as personalities, as part of our beingness, part of our just being. And so Leo is ruled by the sun. So that is what, sort of the fact, we know this. I think that if you study astrology, you will know that planets rule certain signs, and Leo is ruled by the sun in that way. So Leo is ruled by that sun center of the universe. So during this transit, can we express ourselves? This is about self-expression. This is about creative self-expression. Really, really being big and bold to express ourselves the way that we really authentically want to express ourselves, with confidence. Expressing ourselves with confidence is really what this is all about. So can we be confident within ourselves? Can we be creative? Can we show our creative gifts with whatever the creativity defines, however you define creativity? It could be painting, could be art, could be music, or another type of creativity entirely. And enjoying your life. Really, really making the most of your life, enjoying the good feelings of life, enjoying the good experiences of life that can come about for you, because Leo is about fun, Leo is about play, Leo is about enjoying your life as it is. And so we are strongly identifying with our opinions and beliefs at this time. We're really, Jupiter and Leo, one of the things about them, and I have a video of Jupiter and Leo in the natal chart that I did May 3rd. I did that episode May 3rd. You can go back and check that out. Jupiter and Leo, is that they personalize it. They hold true to their principles. They hold true to their opinions and beliefs. They do not bend these opinions and beliefs. They strongly identify with these opinions and with these beliefs, with whatever that they are choosing to do, in their lives. And so, can we be more confident at this time? Can we be more confident? As I kind of repeating the same words. Self-inspires confidence. And I think it's important to define confidence for us right here and now. Believing in yourself is really what it means to be confident. And confidence is not arrogance. Confidence, arrogance. I think that arrogance is coming from an insecurity about the self. Insecurity, needing to puff up yourself, needing to need validation, needing all this. So that is confidence, feeling self-assured. And so can we be more brave with ourselves? Can we be brave? Can we be bold? Can we be daring to just go out into the world and make things happen? Can we really be brave with whatever we're doing? And so, can we inspire confidence in others at this time? That's what really being invited to do is to inspire confidence in others. And inspiring confidence in others, inspiring them to be great, inspiring them to believe in themselves, inspiring them to be strong within themselves. It's about not being overly egoic, not having an ego sort of way about you, with not showing too many ego qualities, egoic qualities. That's what it can really be. Is not being arrogant, not putting others down because they're not competent enough or they're not this enough. Can we have originality? Can we inspire others to act and be bold and be courageous and inspire others to chase their visions of what they envision for themselves in their life? The sun is leadership. The sun really rules a sense of leadership, a sense of I am in charge of my own life. I am the one leading my own life. And the sun is rulership. The sun is also leadership, leading your life as it is. So, okay. So the sun wants, Leos are great leaders because they have a strong quality, wanting to be the hero, wanting to be the one in charge, wanting to be the one. There's a sense of pride with Leo energy. So there's genuine and authentic expression with Leo energy. They express themselves really, really, genuinely. It's like, the lion rules over the jungle. And, now you can sing the songs about the lions. And so, the lion is a sort of the king, sort of pride. And so there's a kind of thing. So there's this confidence, sense of pride that comes into this with here. So there is this genuine and authentic expression with Leo energy. Expressing yourself as you are, as you want to be, going back to what I was saying at the beginning of this video. So there is this need for validation. Need for validation. Need for external validation, need for everyone else to be validating you all around, needing everyone else's approval of you, to know, like, are you good enough? Are you doing well enough? Or are you successful enough? Are you this enough? Are you that enough? Look at me. Oh, why aren't you not looking at me? Look at me, look at me, look at me, and trying to take the attention, trying to steal the attention away from, say, somebody else, and trying to just bring the attention all on you out of an insecurity about the self for validation, and you're jealous of somebody else getting the greater spotlight, having a greater, having another spotlight, and then Leo energy can fall prey to comparisonitis and jealousy. You can become jealous of others, and jealousy is really a quality that can come about if you are not secure within yourself. Jealousy can come about if we lack some sense of self-worth. Not that we don't have the worth, but maybe we need to strengthen our sense of self-worth about ourselves. So, needing appreciation, needing applause, needing the recognition. Now, with this transit, we can have faith, and we can trust in our heart. We can trust in what we want to express in a heart-centered way. Really, for the purpose of finding growth and meaning in our lives, for the purpose of growing and learning and evolving and giving generously to all of ourselves in our lives. So this is what Leo energy can give us, is a generous energy. It just wants to give, it just wants to pour its heart out. And so it can lead with loyalty and integrity. Being loyal to whom you love, what you love. Because Leo is loyal. It is loyal to what you love. It has a loyalty component there. And it's also having a lot of integrity in it. So there's a lot of integrity when it comes to what it loves, and showing up with integrity. And at worst, Leo can lack integrity, and at best, we need to exercise integrity. So this is about shining in the world, really, really not being afraid. It's about where have you played it small, where have you shut yourself down, where you kept yourself alone because kept yourself private because you're afraid of being seen, you're afraid of others seeing you for who you are, for who you truly are. You're afraid of shining your light. You're afraid of so you're dimming your light. You're not shining your light brightly. Where you've just gone along with the status quo and the mundane tasks of your life, and now it's the time for greater authenticity, greater being willing to put yourself out there. Like Leo says, Jupiter and Leo says, show it off, share it all around. So you can shine in the world with your self-expression. Really, really huge for this particular placement, well, for this particular transit, is having self-expression. You can discover newfound confidence within yourself that you didn't know you had before. Maybe confidence that you didn't previously have, that you are reclaiming these parts of yourself that were lacking confidence, that were lacking, that were lacking, would have you lacking the love that you can bring these out. You can really, really be your most confident self with these things. And this really is all about being vulnerable. It's choosing to be vulnerable, choosing to feel, choosing to really, really feel, and expressing what's in your heart. Expressing your heart's desires. Expressing what you want to in your heart. As I said before, you can heighten self-esteem at this time. And self-esteem, good quality to define. Knowing your worth. Self-confidence, self-respect, it says here, is, about there. So really, this is about, having a good sense of self-esteem. And the openness to receive the recognition and the applause without being dependent upon the applause, because it's just so, it's like a trap that you have. It's like you're imprisoned by needing the applause, needing the validation. Why can't you just break out of that and just validate yourself? Know that you're perfectly worthy to shine, and at best, Leo validates itself. And it shines in its own light. That's the evolution of Leo. Because the Aquarius part, like not caring what you think, wanting to be independent, having detached perspective, not getting in the drama of it all. These kind of qualities. So that can be really, really huge here. And so can you act on your goals? Can you act on what you want to do out in the world and your dreams for what you want in the world? Now, Jupiter also brings the negatives, and I'm going to get into more of the negatives later. Jupiter can not only expand the positive, but can also expand the negatives. And so Jupiter is the planet that can go over the top. Too much indulgence, too much fun, too much, drama, too much, self-expression, overly self-expressive, like just too much. It can be just so much, it just becomes so draining and overwhelming, and we get carried away with ourselves. So, okay, so that is, it can be overly dramatic. Be melodramatic. Like, that South Node is going to be bringing up a lot of stuff, a lot of negative tendencies, a lot of shadow sides of Leo energy. Now, am I going to do the Leo thing during the South Node and Leo transit? Absolutely. But I'm going to do it in an evolved way. I'm going to do it where I'm in the energy of my own heart shining radiance. And I am self-expressing. I'm following the calling of my heart, the dictates of my heart, the dictates of my soul, and not needing everyone else's approval. Because, the downside of Leo is like, look at me, I want all the approval. But the upside is really more creative, heart-centered energy, which I really, really like. So, it can be egoic. Leo can be just really, really ego-based. It can be super, ego qualities. It can be over ego, overdoing the ego, and selfish. It can be really, really selfish, not, really considering others, lives and everything else. It can sort of put so much importance on its own self that it just doesn't look, thinks that's like it's suction cupped onto the end of its nose, and it doesn't, it doesn't really care too much about others' lives. And that is a reflection of what you know to be true inside yourself. You know if you're being selfish, you know if you're being that, you know if you're not dropping into what's true, what's real, and, opening up to just being heartfelt. And just being selfless is also caring about yourself. That can be a thing with this. And the fifth house matters. Because Leo corresponds to the fifth house. Dating, children, romance, all those things can come up at this time as matters that can really, really be looked at right now. Okay. So, you can do things that require leadership. You can lead a team to victory. You can do all these things. You can inspire others. You can inspire others to greatness and lead them to greatness. Really being the CEO of your life, being the leader of your life. So, I will say that the performing arts and the creative fields that you're getting yourself into could really, really expand in all kinds of positive ways during this time. Drama, performing arts, all those kind of things like that. Leading and inspiring others also. You can feel very, very recognized and admired. This is about being recognized for your talents, recognized for your abilities. Now, Jupiter in Leo can be really, really big and loud. It can be really, really, very, very dramatic. It can put on a show. It can... Jupiter in Leo is a sign that wants to just be, just inflate itself into, drama, and that's not always a positive thing. So, understanding that is what we need to remember. And then, are we boldly going after what? Going after what we want with self-assurance. Are we boldly going after that thing that we want with the self-assurance of what we are doing? Are we sure of ourselves, basically? Do we know what we want? We know how to get it. And so we can go after our passions. Going after our passion. Really, what is your passion? What lights you up? What is your creative gifts that really, really gives you a sense of passion for your life? And fulfilling those passions is really what this transit is about. So, can we lead our lives? Can we lead our lives? Be in charge of our lives? Be the running the ship? Can we add drama and confidence to what we were doing? Can we throw in a little bit of drama? Can we throw a little bit of a flair in of that? Really, really showing excitement. And having a healthy sense of pride, not an arrogant, not an ego sense of pride, but a positive sense of pride. And are we loyal to what and whom we love? Are we loyal? Are we truly devoted? What are we devoted to? Really, really asking yourself during this time, what are your top values? What are you devoted to in your life that you are so committed to that you want to pour all your life force energy into it? It's something that you're just so passionate about. And if you don't have it, it's okay. I'm not expecting you to sit here and try to overthink in your mind, okay, what am I devoted to? What am I devoted to? No. If you have something, great. But if you don't, then I would suggest during this time, try different things. Try different things to see what you like, see what you don't like, to see what you're really passionate about, and what you don't like, and what you're not passionate, what you're not a fan of, what is and isn't your cup of tea. So, trying out these different things, getting messy, playing around, having fun, not taking life so seriously. Not taking life so seriously in regards to the work and the obligation, but taking your human experience of all the fun and the laughter and the play really seriously, and investing your energy into that and prioritizing the fun side of life is really what this Jupiter transit in Leo is sort of asking you over this period of time. So having self-respect is also a quality here. Having self-respect during this time where you are, and I'm going to talk about self-respect here, just to bring it up. And so, honoring your own needs and who you are. Okay. Treating yourself with kindness and boundary. Excuse me, that's what it said on AI. Treating yourself with kindness is really what self-respect is. So can we have self-respect during this time? It's also great to work with children, because Leo is the 5th house children. So working, with the children in your life, the children in your, vicinity, in your field, so to speak, that may be really, really good. Can you explore what it is that your creative passion is? What is that creative passion that you have? Whatever you define what it is. What is that creative interest? Now's the time to pursue that. Can you embrace, all of that, can you embrace all of who you are and celebrate your light? Celebrating your full light, like allowing yourself to shine in your light. So much so, not, like the trees, like how they take up space, allowing yourself to take up space and not hold yourself back. But then also, it is not dimming others' light. You naturally shining in your own light on a soul-centered level, it's not, I can't say this, that other people may feel certain ways, we don't know how they're feeling, but if you are doing it from a loving place, if I just want to express myself, I just want to be authentic, I just want to, shine, then there's nothing wrong with that, shining your light. But when it comes down to controlling others and judging them or doing whatever, that's where we need to be mindful and really, really put the brakes on the engine and step back and go, okay, I need to be aware of myself to when I am judging and choose to take the higher road. So, having authentic connections, having connections based on authenticity, where the two people really, really respect each other. It's a mutual relationship where the two respect and support each other. And the interaction that I had I would really honestly describe this relationship as having authentic connections, because it was said everything in the conversation and the interaction was authentic. So, not being willing to play it small in your life, not being willing to dim your own light. And, can we confidently enjoy our lives, more fully than before? Can we enjoy what we are doing in our lives and what we're experiencing in our lives and enjoy what's going on in our own lives with all that we're doing to make the most of them? So enjoying all the pleasures, all the bounty of our lives. Now Jupiter expands everything, really. It expands everything, both the positive and the negative. It expands all these things. So the downside is lacking self-awareness when it comes to showing arrogance, entitlement, self-centeredness, being so confident and focused on our own lives that we ignore the lives of those around us. That we, ignore and put aside. We disregard what's going on around us because we're just so focused on our own personal life and this and that. But, can we really, really balance this out at this time? That's what we're being asked of now. So, can we rise above the everyday concerns, rise above the mundane, looking at the big picture, because that's what Jupiter wants for us. And the next transit, Jupiter in Virgo, is going to have us really, really look at the mundane and expanding in the small and not necessarily the big. And I'm going to talk about that when we get to next year. But anyway, back up the bus to now, okay? Can we look at the big picture? Can we look at the big picture of our lives and the state they're being, to really, really look at the positive side of this, to the really, really good side of this. So, can we look at the can we look at the broader view, the broader scope, the bigger view, the higher view at this time? It's going to be more optimistic and joyful without overindulging ourselves in all the ego-like qualities. Now let's talk about healthy entitlement. Healthy entitlement is about the ability and the worthiness that you have to take up space, to really, really take up space, to really, really be in your own right, shining your own light, right? And having likes and dislikes, having really, really strong likes and dislikes with what you're experiencing, having, I like this and I can't stand this, I really, really don't like this and that, and being willing to voice these things, being really, really honest with yourself about these things. And healthy entitlement is not needing everyone to just drop everything and cater to your every need. It's not about based on the world revolving entirely around you and having your needs be front and center and having all your needs be met and nobody else's needs met, nobody else is worthy. But it is both and having, not the other extreme, which is like completely being just ignoring your own needs, ignoring your own wants, not having a healthy sense of self. So we need to find the balance. We need to find the middle ground here. So not the world revolving entirely around you. And where we need external validation as a result from this. Jupiter in Leo is really, really creative. It loves creating new things. It loves spreading joy. Jupiter in Leo is a very, very, it could be a happy-go-lucky sign. It's a very, very loving, lucky sign, very abundant sign. So it spreads the joy and happiness all around. It wants to uplift others. Wants to bring joy to others' lives. And so we may find that there are more options for what we want in our lives. The options may expand for us, and we may have new opportunities now. Okay. So it can make us more courageous. This is a time to be more courageous with ourselves. Really, really showing active courage, active, bravery, and whatever. So really, really showing courage. As I've said, I've repeated myself. So it's good for risk-taking. This transit is really, really great for risk-taking. It's good for going after your desires, following your heart, following your soul calling, following what you want to do from that heart-centered space, and being your true self, being your authentic self. We need to, going back to the very, very first point that I made in this video before I even got into everything, we need to not be controlling others. We need to not judge others, but allow everyone to shine in their own right, to be their authentic selves in addition to yourself. In addition to you being yourself, not judging them for the choices that they want to make in their lives, how they want to present themselves, what they want to say in their videos that they want to say, or what they want to do in terms of their career or whatever, but letting them do what feels right to them. As a parent, I would want the best for my child. I would want to nurture the child into getting out of the ego, falling into the soul, and I would nurture I would help them along on their own path with what they want. And I would give a lot of praise and a lot of love and attention. And, there's a lot of emphasis on allowing the child to be their creative self and not boxing the child in to follow this certain path, to go in a certain way, to do this certain thing. So that's kind of how Leo nurtures their children, is to nurture their creative endeavor that they want to get themselves into. So that's the high word of Leo energy. Allowing everyone else to do what they want to do, how they want to do it, and trust that they know right from wrong. Trust that they know what is right for them. And we do not know what is right for them. Ultimately, they are the ones that know, because they are the ones living in their own skin. We can't say something is right for somebody unless we are in their own skin. We can say that from our own perceptions, but we are not living in their skin. We are not living in their bodies. So that's really their life to live. So, so can we grow in the world of feelings? Can we improve? Can we expand in all kinds of ways? And there's a sense with this transit of having the spotlight be on you, having the spotlight be centered upon yourself. You can take the lead. You can put yourself out there. And also, during this time, honor your need for attention, feedback, recognition. Honor your need to get the applause, get all that kind of thing. Receiving it from others, in which we give ourselves permission and validation as well. So what this means is, you are open to any compliments, any praise, any of all that. You are accepting that in, but you are strong enough within. You're not cutting it out. You're not just, cutting it out like, oh, you don't need to tell me this. I already know this and that. Receiving that, but then knowing, but not needing that, not being dependent on that to make your own sense of self-worth, that you love yourself enough to where you can validate yourself, and you don't need the external approval to sort of tell you, okay, you're good, or you're this and that, where you can, again, validate yourself. So Leo is passionate. Leo is a passionate, bold, fiery energy. And I can really, really look at terms of our heart, our physical vitality that can come into play here. We want to physically express of ourselves, physical, body, physical life necessarily. So now, some of the shadows of Jupiter and Leo is bragging. And I actually have a video that I did April 9th, I think it was. I don't know the date, but sometime in April, on my Real Me podcast, about bragging. And I was talking about how if you are saying good things that you like about yourself from a place of truth and from a place of authenticity, from a place of not needing the external validation and not just seeking the spotlight, but feeling secure enough inside yourself that, you know what, it's okay to speak on what you feel good about yourself for. It's okay to be your own advocate. It's okay to speak for yourself, and that I feel really, really good about having this quality. I feel really, really good about that quality. All these messages, like, you have to not say that and do all that because of it's not humble, whatever. That's don't live an authentic life in that way. What it means to be authentic is it means to validate yourself, have a healthy sense of self-love, to really, really be evolved on the path of being authentic. So, where you are bragging as a means of not bragging, like the downside of bragging, and discussing bragging, and where your pride, too much pride about one's own achievements, possessions. So we're listing this off, and it's an ego sense of pride. It's not like grounding into your soul, taking a breath, dropping into your intuition, feeling good about yourself. It's from a very, very tight, very, very defensive, very, very angry, passionate place. And so that's where you need to be mindful of the difference between ego and soul. The soul feels relaxed and open and flowing. The ego feels like it has to defend itself, like it has to fight, like there's separation between you and another. It has to prove itself. Like that's how the ego feels. So, bragging out of this need for validation instead of loving yourself and knowing that you are enough as you are. For me, it's not needing validation for how many views I get on my videos. The videos are great regardless of how many people view them. And I personally wish that more people viewed my videos, but, they are good regardless. I put my effort and time and energy into it, and it's something that I feel good about. A number is just a number. The video is the good quality, and there's a lot of things that are really, really good that are not necessarily the most popular. And I would place my videos in that category of videos. So, knowing that you are enough. And I think that when you know that you're enough, you don't need to prove, and you don't need to brag and do all that. Also, overspending, and over generosity, over using of our resources, being overly generous, over giving this and that. And it's also about having too much pride. Too much pride, too much of the ego going on here. And there can be too much of this going on. Overly proud can turn to arrogance, a much too high sense of self-importance, where you're, just ignoring everyone else's perspectives, and you feel like you are superior to them, and you go out and say, like, I am superior to you, I am this and that. And that's kind of going back to the interaction that I had. It's the whole thing about being superior, and that kind of got brought up and stirred up in our conversation. That really, really just not needing to take the person down because you feel like you feel you are superior. You need to prove yourself, and you need to make yourself superior because you need to prove, and you need to be better than this person or this and that. But, again, knowing your own abilities, being confident, but not taking others down in this regard. So that is kind of the thing there. And, there's no outright promises that I'm going to make. But again, it all goes back to soul versus ego. What feels right at this point in my life? And I'm not going to deny that interactions with others and time spent with others doesn't change your intuition, doesn't impact your intuition. Because it may lead you to, feel like something that you thought was right before was right differently. I mean, that may be the case. And I found that to be true. But whatever it is inside you is very, very important, and that matters, absolutely. And, and also needing to go there, needing to bite the bullet and have the difficult conversations is very, very important. Because that's where we can develop greater trust, greater transparency, greater bonding with the person, where we're not just having superficial, artificial peace, but we are going there, and it may be very, very difficult, and you may be very, very uncomfortable, and you may not want to look the person in the eye, but these conversations are necessary to have in relationships. So that is necessary, and it may change things, but I think that it will change it for the better. And there's a greater sense of understanding once you finally say it. I think this is a feeling of relief that you may be feeling. And so building up our energy and vitality, building up that energy, building up that that strength within ourselves, and then can we explore what we truly need? What gives us this deeper sense of meaning and purpose in our lives, what we truly, authentically want to do in our lives. And really living that creative expression and self-expressing in that way is really the high road of Jupiter and Leo. So anyway, that is all that I want to express with this episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast on Jupiter and Leo, the transit from 2026 to 2027. I hope that you enjoyed this, found some value out of this, and if you did, please like this video. You can also choose to hype it if you so wish. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to support the channel. I would appreciate your contribution to help this channel grow. And I don't want you to miss out on this content if you found value in what I had to say today. And if you are on Spotify watching this, it would not hurt to leave me a rating on there. I don't care if it's a 5-star rating, a 3-star rating. To just kind of give this podcast a rating, to be able to understand kind of, where it stands when it comes to that. And, not that you have to leave like a 5-star review or whatever, but I'm not saying that you have to, but I would encourage it. I never would not encourage it. So anyway, I just want to say that. Anyway, I will see you back tomorrow for part 2, where I will be going through Jupiter and Leo for all 12 zodiac signs, what all 12 signs need to know during this very exuberant and exotic and very passionate transit. So anyway, take good care. Bye for now.